Finally, a reason for vegetarians and bacon lovers to unite. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but you are gonna love how I transform these mushrooms into chewy, crispy, smoky bites of flavor that are gonna be just like bacon. We are making roasted Brussels sprouts and onions with mushroom lardon. This dish is going to prove to you that you can make a classic dish that's pleasing to both vegetarians and meat eaters. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the king oyster mushroom, sometimes called a king trumpet mushroom, and sometimes called a trumpet royale. They're all pretty much the same thing, they just vary in size. These mushrooms have the most incredible meaty texture, which is why we are going to use them to make mushroom lardons for this recipe. If you've never heard the term lardon before, it's basically a cube or a strip of fatty bacon that is used to flavor a dish. It gives it incredible richness. We are gonna focus on these mushrooms in a minute because the first thing we need to do is get our vegetables prepped and in the oven. These kings need to go to their chambers for a rest while we prep our veg. So let's move them over here. All right, first up, we've got Brussels sprouts. There are all different sizes of Brussels sprouts. You're gonna get little ones like this guy here. You're gonna get medium ones like this one here, and then you're gonna get those big honking guys. You want them to all be the same size. So what we're gonna do is leave the little tiny baby ones whole. We're gonna cut our medium ones in half, and then with our really big ones, we're gonna go ahead and cut those into quarters. I've always been that guy who's like, oh, you don't like Brussels sprouts? Add bacon. Next up, we have some red pearl onions. As you can see, mine are peeled already. I bought them this way because trust me, if you've ever done it, then you know what I'm talking about. If you could find red ones like I have here, go for those because they add a really beautiful color to this side dish. Onto the baking sheet, and we're doing two kinds of onions. So we've got our pearl onions, and then we are gonna add some shallots. Once they roast, they're gonna sort of concentrate and be a little bit sweet. And I actually like to leave the skin on when I'm roasting shallots and then just kind of peel them off before serving because sometimes they have a tendency to burn on the outside. So we're gonna go ahead and cut all of these in half. And now it's time for some thyme that I grew in my garden. I actually do grow thyme. I also have a really cute bowl. No need to remove the leaves. The leaves will sort of fall off during roasting, and it's gonna give us some old-timey flavor. Onto the baking sheet, 6 or 8 sprigs. Now we need to give it some oil. So we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. And then of course we need some salt and pepper. Then we're gonna go in with our hands and just make sure everything is well coated in that olive oil and that salt and pepper. And I mean, look at these colors. Okay, veg into the oven, 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. They're gonna get a little caramelized, they're gonna be just tender, and they're gonna be ready for those mushroom lardons. They look like trumpets and they sound like trumpets too. We wanna cut these mushrooms into about the same size as a bacon lardon. Before you start cutting, some of them might have these weird, gnarly little ends. This could definitely be a character in The Labyrinth with David Bowie. So we're just gonna kind of trim off that gnarly little bit and then go ahead and just cut your mushrooms into 1/2-inch cubes, which is pretty easy because these are really meaty. Obviously, we are using these in a classic sort of Brussels sprout side dish, but these are really great on top of a salad or, I mean, hello, loaded baked potato. Really, you could use these anywhere you would put little delicious bits of bacon. And we're gonna add these to our skillet and cook them down at medium-high heat. And to that, we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and then mushrooms go in. Like any mushroom, it always looks like a lot when you get it in the pan, but they're gonna kind of shrivel down and shrink. We're gonna cook them over medium-high heat for about 6 to 8 minutes. It's during this part of the cooking process where they're gonna get a little bit crispy on the outside, and then we're gonna knock that heat back and let them get chewy on the inside. And that is when their texture is gonna be closer to bacon. Look at them go, look at them go. This is what you're looking for. Golden brown, they've got little crispy edges. At this point, we're gonna go ahead and knock it down to about medium-low. If you cannot find king oyster mushrooms, I would suggest using shiitake mushrooms for this recipe. They have a lower moisture content, and that's really important to this recipe because we don't want them to sort of dissolve into nothing. We want them to have a little bit of chew, a little bit of bite. All right, these look good. I think they're ready. Look at how gorgeous these are. Cut the heat, and now we're going in with some flavor. First thing we're gonna add is some soy sauce. It's gonna give us awesome, awesome saltiness. Mix it really quickly. That soy sauce is gonna give it that really awesome salty bite, but we wanna add some smoky flavor, and we are gonna add a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Once that smoked paprika hits that hot pan, it's like bam! And then of course, we need to add some salt. Just a little bit because we already have the soy sauce in there, so you don't want it to be overly salty. And what's so wild and crazy, it literally looks like bacon. I mean, look at it. Look at it, people, it looks like bacon. Except it's not, it's mushroom. Transfer our mushroom lardons to either a plate lined with paper towels or a baking sheet like I have here. And these, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside, these are a masterpiece. It's time to get our vegetables out of the oven. They're gorgeous and they're lovely. And they are gonna love some mushroom lardon. All right, we're gonna go ahead and add these right onto our vegetables, and then we're gonna give them a quick mix and taste the whole thing. Might look like a lot, but it's the perfect amount, I promise. Gonna mix them in just a little bit, not too much. You can see those shallot skins fall right off. Beautiful. And I'm gonna transfer these to a platter here. I mean, I love this. It's rustic and beautiful. This is ready for the table. I'm gonna give it a taste. It's mushroom lardon with some of the vegetables. They're crispy, they're chewy, they're meaty. I challenge you to make this dish for your friends and family and see if they can tell these meaty lardons started as mushrooms. All right, everyone here on set at my house, here's yours, and here's mine. Bye.